The FBI says it is investigating what appears to be a second assassination attempt on former U.S. President Donald Trump, this time at his Florida golf club. Trump is safe and wasn't harmed in the incident. The Secret Service had spotted a rifle barrel sticking out of a fence, and agents fired at a man who was in the bushes along the perimeter, according to the Palm Beach County Sheriff. The suspect fled in a car and was arrested after being stopped on the highway. The suspect was 300 to 500 yards away from Trump, who was playing golf at the time. Law enforcement found an AK-47 style rifle, a GoPro camera and backpacks where the suspect was positioned. When Secret Service agents opened fire, the suspect reportedly bolted out of the shrubbery he was hiding in and escaped in a black car. Authorities were able to track down the car after witnesses helped the police identify it. The man arrested is 58 years old, Ryan Wesley Routh, who owns a small construction company in Hawaii. Routh had criticized Trump on social media and is a staunch supporter of Ukraine. The US police are now investigating the background of the gunman. He reportedly tried to recruit foreign fighters to join Ukraine's war effort and had been to Kiev. Trump reassured his supporters he was safe and well and nothing will show me down, he said, as he called for financial support for the presidential campaign. Ryan Wesley Routh, who authorities suspect was planning to attack the former president as he played a round of golf, posted comments on an X account linked to him, referencing the assassination attempt on Trump at a July rally in Pennsylvania. Routh tagged Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris in separate posts, encouraging them to visit those injured at the rally. He said, "You and Biden should visit the injured place in the hospital from the Trump rally and attend the funeral of the murdered fireman. Trump will never do anything for them." In an April post on X, tagging President Biden's presidential account, Routh wrote that Biden's campaign should be called something like KDAF, Keep America Democratic and Free. Trump's should be Massa, Make Americans Slaves Again. Master, democracy is on the ballot and we cannot lose. In June 2020, Routh appeared to say that he had voted for Trump in 2016, but that he had since withdrawn his support of the former president. While you were my choice in 2016, and the world hoped that President Trump would be different and better than the other candidate, we were all greatly disappointed, and it seems you are getting worse. I will be glad when you're gone, he wrote. Routh expressed strong support for Ukraine in dozens of posts on X in 2022, saying he was willing to die in the fight and that he wanted to see the Kremlin burn to the ground. "I'm willing to fly to Krakow and go to the border of Ukraine to volunteer and fight and die. Can I be the example? We must win," he wrote. Public records reveal several court cases involving Routh since the 1990s. What the FBI has termed an assassination attempt has happened just 2 months after Trump survived a shooting in Pennsylvania while addressing a rally. The would-be assassin back then fired a bullet from a sniper from a distance which grazed the former US president's ear. The suspect was then shot dead by authorities. Many former Secret Service agents are now saying US authorities need to review the types of protection presidential candidates get. It's the 10th time in American history, they say, adding democracy is being endangered because of conspiracy theories or one side believing one thing and the other side believing the other. The government is going to have to rein these all in. A close friend of Donald Trump and journalist and businessman Chris Ruddy has told the media he wasn't surprised by the latest apparent assassination attempt. He said, "I think the president remains in a dangerous situation. There are a lot of people who don't like him in this country." While the FBI has launched an investigation into the apparent assassination attempt, the state of Florida has launched its own probe, according to the governor. Donald Trump, in his first statement following the apparent attempt on his life, promised that nothing would slow him down or make him surrender. The response fits into a campaign that has often argued that the former president has become a target of persecution and attack because he speaks out for the forgotten Americans. His words after his first near assassination in July, "Fight, fight, fight," became a rallying cry for his supporters. "They're not coming after me, they're coming after you," Trump likes to say. "I'm just standing in the way." After decades without political violence directed at a major party presidential candidate, the US has now experienced two major incidents in the space of 2 months, with former President Donald Trump the target on both the occasions. Americans have had to adjust to new normals in politics on a seemingly regular basis in the last few years. The national discourse has coarsened, partisan divisions have sharpened and become more entrenched, and the standards for candidate behavior have eroded. Given the national epidemic of gun violence, these kind of attacks are perhaps another inevitable new normal, but it is still shocking nonetheless. Vice President Kamala Harris has said in a statement, violence has no place in America. Details of the apparent assassination attempt, the identity and motivation of the assailant in particular, will ultimately determine the impact this has on American politics. But for the moment, it seems like this kind of violence is increasingly part of today's America. Sunday's drama may be shocking, but with just over 7 weeks remaining in the presidential campaign, there seems certain to be more twists to come. Twice within 2 months, America has narrowly avoided the tragedy of seeing a major political figure assassinated during an election season, and the toxic forces that such an outrage could unleash in a country racked by visceral partisan divides. That such incidents happen at all speak to the undercurrent of violence that is a constant shadow over American politics, one that is exacerbated by the easy availability of guns. Both nominees now address outdoor crowds from behind bulletproof screens. There will now be fresh fears that a tempestuous period running up to election day could take the country further down a dark road. After decades without an assassination attempt against a high-level executive branch official, a haunting reality has now revived this year. The second apparent assassination attempt on Trump comes against the backdrop of a turbulent campaign that has defied convention and predictions. For the first time since 1968, a sitting president folded his re-election campaign within months of the election, reluctantly making way for his vice president, who has a chance to become the first black woman in South Asian commander-in-chief. The Republican nominee is a convicted felon who's facing multiple criminal charges over his unprecedented attempt to stay in power after losing the last election. If he's returned to the White House, Trump would be only the second president who lost re-election to win a non-consecutive second term.